Hello, this is Tim Law with Plan It Forward Coaching and Self-Reliance You. Always remember your life, your career, your passions, and your goals are all essential. Uh, Whatever your mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. And always big thank you to almost 360 people that have subscribed to this Plan It Forward coaching channel on YouTube. Please do so if you haven't already. And for those that have, thank you so much. I am very, very happy to have a wonderful young lady who I first met, I think, when she was in 8th grade, became part of our tennis team, ended up having a phenomenal record. She had huge wins over Dallastown as well as over Hempfield opponents, always tough ones. And I'd like to welcome Bryn MacDonald. So Bryn, take it away. Tell us your story there.
Hi. Okay, so you want me to go back as far as second grade? Because that was really when my love for tennis truly began.
Sure.
So this was back when I lived in Oregon. My mother had enrolled me and my sister into a summer tennis program, sort of like Tennis for Kids, where we would go about 3 days a week. We would learn basic tennis skills and things like that. And I just remember loving every second of it. Granted, I was 8, so I wasn't good at it, but I did enjoy the challenge, and I always have enjoyed a challenge. So I had done that program about 2 years, and then I stopped. And then when you came up to me in 8th grade and you were like, hey, I'm looking to build a team for next year's, I believe it was 2015, 2016 season, and would you be interested? And I just remembered that tennis program I was involved with, and I was like, oh, that would be really nice to get back into that. So I took a leap of faith, and I was really excited because I wasn't expecting to actually play a sport in high school. So I was like, let's go, rah. So and then I remember training very hard that summer, and that's really when it began. And then I fell in love with it all over again, and I stuck with it all 4 years.
Yeah, you did a great job too. We had some great teammates there, Bryn, and I like to shout out to them as well. Courtney Hoff, Jillian Lockman, Madison Lockman, Isha Patel, Aubrey Schaefer, and just a number of them. Amy Rizzo was with us. Just a phenomenal group of young ladies, that's for sure. And you guys did a great job. What other things, Bryn, were you involved with in school? You were all over the place as far as your energy and involved with this and involved with that. What else were you into?
Yeah, there was a lot. I was in National Honor Society. I was very active in National French Honor Society. I was vice president, I think, for 2 years. And then I was secretary in my sophomore year. And then I was involved in is it called HASA? I think it was the medical club.
Okay.
I was interested in neuroscience at the time. And then I was involved in dramatics, very heavily involved in dramatics all 4 years. I was president in my senior year. I was in the psychology club as well. I was not too active in that one. That one was kind of that one was an interesting one. I learned a lot from that one as well.
Well, you certainly have a dramatic personality, Bryn. I will say that for you.
Yes, on the field and off the field.
yes, all good for sure. So, well, what as far as being involved with all those activities, what were some of the main things that some of the life lessons that being involved with a variety of things? And I certainly agree that the idea of your high school years, you do want to get involved, you just make more connections that way, more friendships, etc. What were some of the main takeaways you came away with, by being involved with a variety of activities?
There were several life lessons I learned through that. One of the biggest ones personally, if we're speaking in terms of personal goals that have stuck with me, was always just go for it. Even if it feels like it's out of reach or you can't do it, you're not qualified, you don't have this, that, or the other, just do it, just try. And I was in dramatics all 4 years, and in my mind, I was like, well, I'd never really been in a major lead role, so how would they think I even am qualified to be president? And then I got president, and I was like, exceeded my own expectations there. So, and things like that. And then with National French Honor Society, when I had achieved those leadership roles, I wasn't expecting that either. And so it was always just a matter of taking that leap of faith and just deciding not to worry about the consequences until they came. And I've sort of approached every other obstacle in my life that way, sort of course, proceeding with caution, not always jumping in head first, but just knowing that if there's a good risk to take, always try to take it.
Sure, sure. Now, going on to college now, Bryn, what are some of the things that you've learned now these last 2 years that you've been in school and college that have helped you, further along with your pathway there?
A good example of the just go for it and just do your best, that kind of thing, really was exemplified this year in my sophomore year of college. With COVID, of course, that posed as a severe challenge, and you face a lot of difficulty trying to retain information because most of it was online. Mm-hmm. And I had just gotten a full-time job at an animal hospital. So I was doing full-time school and full-time customer service. Mm-hmm. So I had my hands full. And in my mind, the first week I was like, I don't think I can do this. I should just tell them I can't do it. And then my mom had to kind of help me. And I also kind of used my experience in high school as a reference point of saying, okay, well, here's a challenge. Let's go for it. Let's try. And if it serves as an insurmountable obstacle, then that's when we'll be like, okay, we tried. At least you tried. And it's always about the effort. I feel like that matters, even if you don't always come out on top at the end. And then I ended up coming out on top. I finished my year with straight A's this year, and I'm doing really well at my job. I'm learning a lot. So it was a healthy challenge, and I took it. And yeah.
Well, and I really like how you're saying it, at least try, because there's a great quote, and it fits whether you've heard it or not, but capacity is a state of mind. So in other words, when you first start out, okay, yeah, you're doing the full-time job, you're doing the full-time school, your homework, etc. And then initially, yeah, that first week or two it's challenging, that's for sure. But as long as you're trying, what happens is you develop these efficiencies or become more effective as far as some of the things that you are trying to do. So yeah, initially it's kind of a climb, but once you get a week or two under your belt, yeah, you kind of find ways to be more effective and more efficient. And you certainly have discovered that for sure.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. I made great use of lists. Before, I was never a list maker ever. I kind of just did things on the fly and hoped for the best. But this year I knew that wasn't going to work. Yeah. I just couldn't pull things out of my butt this time. And I was like, okay, we really got to knuckle down and decide, hey, we have to actually write things out and get organized. So I got a planner. I invested in a planner for once in my life. And I actually started to plan out my week the week before and say, this is when you should do this assignment. This is when you should study for this exam. And it all just sort of fell into place perfectly. And soon enough, I was like on autopilot. Everything just kind of fell into place, and it was very structured, and I ended up thriving.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Well, in the mind, let's face it, Bryn, the mind is for developing and having ideas, not for holding all kinds of information. That's what you put down on a planner, and you do that because I don't have to tell you, if you're going for a tennis shot and you're a split second too late and that ball goes by you, okay, you were just, if the preparation wasn't there to be in that position a split second sooner, if you're a split second sooner, you're going to make the shot. If you're a little bit late, you're going to miss it, and it's the same thing with these deadlines in school. It's not necessarily fractions of a second, but it is, within hours or days of, when you have to have something done,
Yes, absolutely. That's a fantastic analogy. Actually, that's a perfect way to put it. You have to be cognizant of how you're spending your time and everything, and be very conscientious with where you put your time and effort towards. And if, like you said, if you're just a split second too late, that split second defines a whole array of things, and it could create a domino effect of just not being on top of things, being late. So, and I knew that going in, I knew that I could not allow myself to slack, not even a little bit, with schoolwork, because the second I allowed myself to slip on one assignment, it was just going to go downhill from there, especially with the way my schedule was. I would have never been able to catch up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it certainly sounds like, making those lists and everything. And what's very, very cool is I've interviewed a number of different people that have been in college, and it's interesting how the time management, the list making, things like that, those things come up by, a number of the people that I've actually, spoken to, that you've got to get on another level, as far as being successful in college. The things you get away with in high school, winging it or whatever, you can get away with, but you're in college, you're in there with a lot of these mental greyhounds, you're in there with other people that have been successfully navigated high school. So it's so important to, kind of be one of the lead persons there. What advice, Bryn, would you give to, let's say, some up and comers, younger people, as far as whether it's work or whether it's going on to college, military, thoughts like that?
That's a good one, because there's a lot of things that I would advise people
Mm-hmm.
to bear in mind when they approach life and make that transition between high school and college. But one of the biggest things was know what you're getting yourself into and understand that this is a big change.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, I didn't necessarily keep in mind all that much, admittedly, that it was going to be a drastic change. So in my mind, I was like, okay, we're just going to kind of approach it the way I approach high school and it'll be fine. It's not going to be that different. And it was hugely different. And I was not prepared for that. And I was like, and I mean, I adjusted well, I adjusted fine. I got myself together. I'm a pretty adaptable person. I enjoy change. So I was able to adapt easily, but I understand that a lot of people find difficulty in adapting to new situations. So absolutely be aware that it's going to be a big change and prepare for it. Like we just discussed, absolutely go take necessary measures to prepare for the transition.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Are there any particular teachers or mentors that you had, coming up through the middle or high school, Bryn, that really stand out in your mind, that, of people that, kind of had an impact on your life and your schooling, etc.?
Well, you're one of them.
I wasn't looking for those kudos. You can give the shout out to the others. I do appreciate it, but yeah, give me some of the others, hon.
I mean, it's true though. You were my coach on and off the field. And I saw you a lot in the hallway and I'd just stop and talk to you all the time. But I also found a lot of comfort and a lot of guidance in the guidance counselors. Mrs. Gamber, she helped me quite a bit. She opened her office to me and allowed me to sort of feel that I had a safe place to go, because I had struggled with mental health in high school. So she created a safe space for me to go and just unwind, which was very helpful. And it allowed me to sort of gain skills in introspection, which then even furthered my skill in self-awareness. Let me think, who else? There's so many. My French teacher, Madame Higgy, she was kind of like a mom figure to us French kids, because
she's a wonderful lady for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We were with her all 4 years. So the group, like me, Trent, Mason Walheim, all those kids, we all went through all 4 years with her. And as we got older and older, she became more and more kind of like a mom figure to us. And yeah, I missed her. I wish her nothing but the best. It's hard. Mrs. Drenchko. Yes, Mrs. Drenchko. I don't want to forget her, because I'll never forget her. Absolutely. She created a safe space for us kids as well, in chorus, and then allowed us to sort of just, because music, of course, you can't contain music. Music is creative. Music is free. And she allowed us to be creative and be free in her class, but also maintained that necessary respect. So absolutely, Mrs. Drenchko. I have to think a little bit harder, because it's been a couple of years since high school. It's crazy how fast time's gone.
Yeah.
I think you four are probably the biggest ones.
Yeah. Well, do appreciate that. And I know they would as well, Bryn. What about special memories you might have as far as some of your tennis teammates? Because like I said, that first year that you guys came in, we did reasonably well, but by the time you were juniors and seniors, you guys were really doing a phenomenal job as far as the tennis was concerned. Any particular individuals on that team that kind of stand out in your mind? And we'll get ready to close this up here pretty soon. I just kind of wanted to finish on that direction.
Oh yeah, I love all of them. But like I know that there were a couple individuals that I got extremely close with, like in particular Katie McGonigal and I are still very close to this day. I just got off the phone with her actually a couple hours ago.
I'm trying to catch her on an interview. She's like trying to nail Jello to the wall. She's so busy, I will catch up with Katie. She's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's very busy. She's in Florida right now. But Aubrey Schaefer, I wish nothing but the best for her. Isha and I are still very close to this day. I just saw Isha a couple days ago. I think Amy and I are best friends still to this day. We'll always be best friends. Amy also stood up for me in a lot of ways on that team as well. She was absolutely a leader figure on that team.
Sure.
Jillian Lockman, I admire her specifically. Both her and Madison love them to death, but especially Jillian, she worked at it every single day. And I just remember when she came onto the team, she was like, I don't want to say like she was like, oh, nothing. She was something. It was just like she hadn't gotten to that level yet, but she pushed herself and pushed the bar so high that she became unstoppable. Yeah. And I admire that so much. Her work ethic was incredible. That's probably. And Taylor Forey. Oh my gosh, I miss Taylor Forey. Yeah. Just a wonderful spirit. There's just so many. It's hard. It's really hard.
No, it's tough. And I'm pulling you back a few years. Yeah, no, it's all good, Bryn, for sure. So, hey, this has been fantastic. I do appreciate it. Any last parting thoughts? And then please stick around afterwards. I'll catch you here for a minute or two.
Parting words. Thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate you giving me some of your time to just chat and catch up and reflect on those 4 years. It's been great. I've been reminiscing about high school a little bit lately, with quarantine, your mind wanders. So that was nice to kind of verbalize a lot of what I was thinking. So thank you for allowing me to reflect.
Absolutely. No, my pleasure. And as I said, I one of the things that my goals here during this whole COVID thing is to try to pull the Bobcat Nation a little bit closer together. We've got a lot of success stories coming out of there. And I just like to be able to use the experiences that you guys have learned out there in the real world of college or whatever, just for thoughts and ideas that can help, some of the younger ones coming up,
Yeah.
So, well, Bryn, this has been wonderful. Thank you so very much. And please stick around here for a minute. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.